Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to another episode of Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome back. This is the place to get up to date with all the news of the week in the world of streaming and movies. How are you, Adam?
I am great, thank you, Nick. How are you?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Good. I'm glad. How's your week been?
Good. We were just saying feels like it's been a long week.
It has been a long
Not
week.
necessarily a bad.
No, not necessarily.
It's just a lot. There's
yeah,
a lot.
It just seems like it's been a long time since we were doing this last week.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a little bit later than the week than we normally are, but
Yeah. But
it just feels like a
not
long
unheard
time.
of. Yeah. That's the way it goes sometimes.
I've just realised the overhead light's not on. Let's turn that on, shall we?
Yeah, go for it.
Even
Sure.
better than we already do. There we go.
Sure. You okay?
I am good. I've been making ice cream this week
Oh, amazing.
because my brother's brought one of those new Ninja creamy ice cream makers.
Yes.
And then he's gone on holiday, so I went around his house and stole it.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got to test these things.
Exactly. So I've been playing with that all week.
Yeah.
Made some really cool concoctions. I made a strawberry ice cream,
Lovely.
and I followed the recipe that was in the guide
Yeah.
that comes with the machine. So I was like, I'll just do that. And I was pouring sugar in, and I was like, this is too much sugar. This feels like too much sugar.
Uh-huh.
And then when it had finished and it had made the ice cream, it was the best strawberry ice cream I've
Oh,
ever
wow.
had.
Okay.
But when you're just like, there's so much sugar going into it. There's almost as much sugar as there was cream.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's a lot of sugar. But it was good. What else have I made? I made a strawberry ice cream. I made a cherry ice cream,
Uh-huh.
a pineapple sorbet,
Oh.
a banana milkshake, some Oreo milkshake. It does like milkshake,
Sure.
slushies. It does all sorts. It's well good.
Wow, that does sound good.
So I might have to invest.
Yeah.
I've got to give it. He's back off holiday now, so I've got to get it back to him before he notices.
Just slip it in the dead of night.
Yeah, I just went around. I was like, I'm having that for a week. They won't know.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, so it's fun to play with. They're different to other ice cream makers because you have to like make your recipe up and then freeze it solid, and then it
Right.
fucking blitzes it
Got ya.
to the point of no return and turns everything into slush.
Got ya.
So it's not like churning as it's freezing like most ice cream makers. But yeah, it works really well.
Nice.
I recommend for a Ninja Cream.
Oh, good. Yeah, if I send some sponsorship this way, why not?
Yeah, why not? That'd be great. If you could send me a free one, that'd
yeah,
be wonderful.
yeah, even better. Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, that's been my week really.
Okay, good.
You?
Big news in the world of car-based games in my family.
Car-based games, okay.
Yeah. So, Mini Punch. Are you
Right.
familiar with that game?
Is it where you punch if you see a mini?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's basically...
We used to do it with yellow cars when we were kids.
Yeah, so I think there's basically 3 core rules to the game we play.
Right.
So if you see a yellow car, you call it out.
Yeah.
If you see a mini, you can punch.
Okay.
But a new rule was added
Right.
this week, I think inspired by the hot weather we've been having.
Yeah.
Which is if you see a convertible,
Right.
you can also land a blow.
Oh, okay.
And
All covered in bruises now.
yeah. And not long had we been playing this on a recent journey when the trifecta was found in one vehicle.
No way.
A yellow convertible mini
Nice.
was spotted.
What do you do then? Just throat punch?
So I had to stop the car and just
Have a
pile on.
fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was pretty exciting.
I used to
Pretty
drive a yellow
momentous.
car, and the highlight of driving a yellow car is seeing kids punch each other as you drive past.
Yeah.
Because it happens all. You're surprised how often it happened.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
I remember your yellow car. Yeah.
I love that car.
So yeah, that was probably the most exciting thing that's happened.
Do you know
this
what's
week.
happened to me this week?
What?
This is like, you know when you see something and then you realise you don't see it very often and then you see it
Yes.
all the time?
Yes.
I saw yesterday 2 removal lorries
Okay.
following each other down the road. I was like,
Okay.
and I just thought to myself, you don't see removal lorries very often. I don't know why. And then today, I saw like 4
Wow.
on the drive home tonight.
Friday is a moving day, though.
Yeah, there's
usually, isn't
loads
it?
about.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird because it just, like, how it popped into my head yesterday. And then today I've just seen loads.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
I saw some this week. Had to move aside for them.
Did you?
Yeah, because they were in the way. That's
There's literally, there was even one on my street tonight.
okay.
New neighbours.
Dude, no, well,
They were right at the other end.
we should take the podcast over to them.
Should we?
In a basket as a gift.
Here is our podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to the neighbourhood.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's
Okay,
put it on a
fine.
little USB stick.
Yeah, sure.
We get like 1 terabyte ones and just the whole history on the show. It's 500
Report back
episodes
with-
of our podcast.
Yes, but please report back with multiple notes.
Yes, let us know your
on
favourite
each episode. Also, maybe watch some of the movies.
Yeah, only some, not all.
Okay, good.
Cool. Yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Should we do a question of the week?
Why not?
Okay. We had. I think you set a kitchen-based question the other
Did I?
the other week about like what would be the most annoying appliance
Oh yeah.
in your kitchen if it was like had a personality.
Yes.
So I've also, to follow up, got another kitchen appliance-based
Cool.
question, and it is simply this: if your hands were replaced with anything from a kitchen, what would you choose and why?
Oh, good question.
I'm going to say you don't have to have the same thing on both hands.
Okay. Well, there's an obvious answer here.
I think there's one obvious answer that is pretty useful.
A knife and a fork.
Well, I was thinking the fork is more
The
useful
fork's
than
really
the knife.
useful. But yeah,
For the things your hands do.
Yeah. Are they detachable? Do I get hands back when I'm not using them, or do I have to use these practically?
No, your hands are replaced.
Okay.
So that you've got to use them in all the things you use your hand for.
I think a fork and a spoon is the obvious choices.
Yeah.
Because a spoon's quite hand-shaped anyway.
Yeah, true.
So you could still probably use the spoon for picking up stuff.
A spoon's probably better than a fork.
Yeah, maybe.
But then how much stuff do you need to lift? Could be a big spoon.
Like a ladle.
So, yeah, it doesn't have to be a teaspoon. That would seem to really
But with
shot
also
yourself
the handy thing about a fork would be that you could put other stuff in the twines.
Yeah, true.
Tines?
Yeah,
Tines. So if you needed like a teaspoon, you could like wedge one in and use the like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
I think a fork and a spoon are the most practical ideas.
I think they're probably the most useful.
Or a spork.
Yeah.
Then you've got a free hand again.
Yeah, spork.
Spork on one hand.
Yeah. I'm having the spork because I think that's the most useful. But then I think I might have a wild card on my other hand.
You can get a spork with a serrated edge as well now.
Yeah.
Like a
Spinork.
So maybe one of them.
Yeah.
That's one hand done. Right hand done.
Okay.
So like you said, you've got to go a little bit more weird on a left hand, I think. Like
whisk,
blender. Can they be electric?
Yeah, why not?
Your body's got power.
Yeah. Spatula,
that'd be a good one.
I think I'd go. Yeah, I quite like blender.
Blender's good.
Yeah.
And one of those hand blenders.
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd use it for practically. How often do you use one of them?
Not very.
Ice cream scoop?
Yeah, maybe.
But then that's just almost the same.
It's very summery.
Yeah. Tongs? Tongs is a good one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because then you could pick things up with them.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Tongs on one hand that I can operate.
What about silicone, like an oven glove?
Oh, that's a good shout. And you could get into the oven.
It's a bit like a hand.
Yeah.
It's like quite.
But you need your hand to operate that. I suppose you do with tongs as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're saying they're connected to your nerves, so you can
treat them. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going tongs. Tongs on one hand, spork on the other.
Okay.
Done.
I go oven glove and spork.
I think I can live with that.
Well, you're going to have to. That's your decision you've
Cool.
made.
Deal. I like that. That's a good question. Let us know if we missed anything or if you'd have anything different.
Yeah, you'd have there'd be some really pointless shit. Like imagine having an ice cube tray for a hand.
Yeah.
Like
that'd be pretty pointless. You have to stand in the freezer all day.
Like it'd
cheese
take
grater?
ages to put a fire out.
Cheese grater?
Yeah.
That'd be a good
maybe.
one.
What about those get those like plastic ones that have got a peeler and a grater and they're always a bit cheap and look like they're going to break, but you could have something like that, I suppose.
Something like that'd be good. I think the right answer is tongs and spork.
Okay. I think you're
and I think it might also be the name of this episode.
Tongs and spork, yeah. They sound like a garage or drum and bass act from the early 2000s.
Or a kids' TV show double act, like Dick and Dom. Tongs and spork. Imagine them in green t-shirts and orange dungarees.
Yeah. Yeah, gunging someone.
Yeah.
John Tongs and Danny Spork.
John Tongs. He was from the 90s, but he was wrong. And come the late 2000s.
Oh, he's been in the cancel canon.
John Spork's been definitely
cancelled. Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
And it left, what was his name? Danny Tongs.
Yeah. I think it was the other way around, but it doesn't matter. It's fine.
He had to find another career.
Yeah. Yeah, Danny Spork's now like used car salesman or something like that.
Because of everything that John Tong did.
That
Danny Spork just can't have a career anymore. But one day he'll make a comeback and he'll win some sort of award.
It'll be on
Like I'm a Celebrity.
Celebrity Farmers.
Can you believe you've got Danny Spork on I'm a Celebrity? Jeez, not heard from him for ages. Where's he been?
It'll be turning on the Christmas lights at Grimsby or something. I don't know.
Why John Tongue rots away in prison somewhere.
Anyway. So, should we do some news?
Let's do some news.
Let's talk about some Netflix cancellations.
Okay.
Because we've got a couple of those. 2 official, 1 not officially cancelled.
Okay.
But also not renewed. Which maybe
is the same thing.
The same thing. And I think the most high profile is the news that The Residents will not be returning.
This is devastating. It's a really good show.
Which was the sort of whodunit White House set murder mystery.
We talked about it a lot when it was out.
It was really good.
It was really good, yeah.
And it did reasonable numbers, but not amazing numbers. As we did note in our Discord this week, it was very much overshadowed by the fact it came out, I think it was a week after Adolescence.
Yeah, it was very much overshadowed.
I'm sure had a big impact on its numbers. But it wasn't a cheap show either. The biggest and most detailed set of the White House ever built.
Yes, it was
for that show. And it had a very starry cast, which I imagine didn't come cheap either. So that is really unfortunate that won't be returning. Also, not returning is Pulse, which was Netflix's medical drama, which also came out. Well, that came out at the start of April. It starred Willa Fitzgerald and Colin Woodall. Quietly axed, according to Deadline, about a month ago when the cast and creatives were notified. With some of the actors have already lined up new roles. Netflix's take on the medical procedural genre. Deadline thinks it was hurt by being the last of 5 new medical dramas to be premiered in the span of 6 months across various different networks. Wow.
That's a lot of medical dramas.
Being the last one is, probably tricky.
I don't even remember seeing anything about that show.
I had heard of it. I might have seen the trailer for it.
Okay.
But, that is gone. And then also, in terms of not cancelled officially, not renewed, is No Good Deed, which was Liz Feldman's follow-up to Dead to Me. And it was the show, I again didn't watch it. It was the show where a new couple moved into a street. It was Lisa Kudrow, Ray Romano.
Oh yeah. I do remember it.
Tiona Paris.
That's gone as well, is it?
Yeah, only everyone's option to come back has expired, with the exception of 2 of the actors. So it is unlikely.
Yes, unless they bring it back as a 2-man show.
Yeah. Is that them?
That's them. I've just got an AI to generate it for us.
Brilliant.
I'll put that in the video so you can see it properly.
Lovely. So yeah, they're all gone.
That's a shame. The Residence is a real shame because I think that character that was really good, and you could have taken it. The lead character was really good, and you could have taken her pretty much anywhere to solve crimes all over the weird world.
Yeah,
the wind's picking up.
He's gone really weird, isn't he? I don't know why.
That's a shame.
But let's talk about something that has done a lot better numbers-wise, and that is Squid Game Season 3.
I've not got there yet.
So I've watched some of it, so I'll talk a bit about it later. But in terms of its initial viewing numbers, I know we say this quite often, but I do love how Netflix frames some of this stuff because it has set a new record.
Oh wow! Okay.
For the most views in its first 3 days.
3 days now?
Yes.
Okay.
60.1 million viewers.
Okay.
Which is very good. So it is already, after a week now?
Yeah,
I think, or just under a week, the 9th most watched non-English TV show ever.
Really? Already?
On Netflix.
Okay.
So it will surge up that list. So just to compare with the, what did I say, 60 point 1 million views in its first 3 days.
Yeah.
Squid Game Season 2 debuted with 68 million views in its first 4 days.
That tracks.
Now, there's no reason why they couldn't count the first 4 days.
Why don't we just pick a metric and stick with it?
Because
we have to break records.
Because Season 2 came out on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And Season 3 came out on a Friday.
Right.
These are basically the weekend.
The weekend figures.
Yes. And they're counting the extra day as the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's just bonkers.
It's
like, why not wait another day? And it might have done more than...
Yeah, it might have done more than 60 years. Just pick a metric and stick with it.
Yeah.
I suppose they think that nobody's really looking into them as much as we do. So don't talk about them as much.
I don't know. When, just by comparison, so Wednesday back in its first week, just to show that we know that Squid Game Season 1 especially was like a grower.
Yeah.
But also Wednesday in its first week back in 2022, 50.1 million views.
Oh, really?
So it didn't come out of the blocks explosively.
No, but then it just rocketed in the next 3 weeks.
Stayed around for ages, yeah.
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 Crazy.
But either way, cut it however you want. It's good numbers.
Well. It's doing well.
Good numbers.
All these spin-offs are coming.
Yes.
So and they will keep coming if the numbers keep doing well.
Of course they will. Of course they will. And I have watched some of Squid Game Season 3, so I will mention it a little bit later on.
Okie dokie.
Something else, quite niche.
Yeah.
But I guess this is pretty cool if this is your sort of thing. Coming to Netflix.
Right.
Is some more live content.
Oh, okay.
Live streams, starting later this summer, will be broadcast on Netflix from NASA.
Oh.
Yeah. Science, bitch.
Okay.
Netflix and NASA have a new partnership aiming to take NASA's content accessible to a global audience. All of NASA Plus's live programming will be available on Netflix.
Interesting.
Previously, and will continue to be on the NASA app. So this will be things like series, movies, documentaries, but also real-time broadcasts of missions, launches, spacewalks, and just views of Earth from space and stuff like that.
I didn't even know that was I didn't know NASA Plus was a thing.
Me neither.
There you go.
Me neither. But it's on its way.
Interesting.
Rebecca Sermons, who is general manager of NASA Plus, said, "Our mission is to tell the story of space exploration to the widest possible audience. The partnership with Netflix is a step into a golden era of innovation and discovery."
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think you'd tune in for a
maybe
spacewalk?
Maybe. It'd be quite interesting. Yeah. Not necessarily for the films or stuff, but the live stuff would be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You watch some docking on your TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm up for that.
Science,
bitch.
Another huge company in talks with Netflix. Netflix is just, trying to join forces with all these behemoths. According to the Wall Street Journal, it's none other than Spotify.
Okay.
Yes, this article in the Wall Street Journal says that talks are ongoing between Netflix and Spotify to partner on projects such as music award shows and live concerts.
Right.
As part of a push to, again, get more live content on Netflix and, I suppose, promote Spotify.
Yeah.
Promote each other on each other's platforms.
Well, they're very similar platforms, but they don't compete in any way, do they?
Yeah.
So they might as well team up.
Also in discussion as part of the talks are celebrity interviews and short turnaround documentaries.
Short turnaround documentaries?
Yeah. Whatever that means.
Okay.
Netflix and Spotify have not yet responded to requests for comment. But it feels like a partnership that, now you've heard of it, kind of you think, oh, that's quite surprising that's not happened before.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Because Spotify always have bands and stuff doing sessions for them, and why wouldn't you
Yeah.
If you can monetize that even more, take the money out of the artist's pockets even more.
That's what they do. That's what they do best.
We'll see what happens there. Okay. Technology news.
Okay.
This is proper nerdy.
Right. Awesome. I'm in.
Proper nerdy. Netflix has invented a new film grain effect just for streaming. So, as you are watching a film, you will have various levels of grain to it. Yeah. So this is basically how much in the processing of the film you've got I think it's caused by like the flecks of silver on the film and stuff. And obviously that is depending on what effect the director's going for, that has various levels to it. So what Netflix has done is managed to compress the file data down. So instead of having a huge file including all the whatever level of grain is in the movie, they've taken it all out.
Yeah.
And they have invented a software which puts it back in.
Okay. So it brings the file sizes down.
Yes.
But why not just leave it out?
Well, apparently because it's just it takes up less bandwidth, basically.
Okay. Interesting.
But that's quite fascinating.
Proper nerdy.
Technology. It's called AV1 Film Grade Synthesis.
Nice.
FGS. A clever trick where they don't compress the grain itself in the original file. It is analysed. Its pattern is figured out, how intense it should be in different parts of the video file, and then they send that information alongside a much cleaner, grain-free video stream. And then when it hits your device, the film grain is recreated right there on your screen, synthesized to match the original.
Question.
Yes.
Why can't we just have it without it? If they can take it out, why do they need to put it back in again?
Because it's an artistic choice sometimes, isn't it?
Sometimes, yeah. Okay. I'm just puzzled by that.
So rather than sending a big file with all the noisy grain intact, a cleaner, smaller file is sent and the grain effect is added back in after the fact.
Okay.
Lower initial and average bit rates, which translates to less data usage and a smoother experience for the customer, especially if your internet connection isn't the best.
Oh, perfect.
You should notice fewer playback issues, less buffering, and faster start times when you hit play.
Okay.
Something that just like you wouldn't even know is going on behind the scenes in Netflix. That's just interesting.
Yeah, definitely
interesting. Okay. I think the government's done a good thing.
You think the government's done a
good
thing?
Yes, that doesn't happen
very rarely
at all from any government. But so do you remember a few weeks ago we talked about Britain's Culture, Media and Sport Committee suggesting a levy to be applied on streamers.
Yes, I do remember.
Basically give some of the fat stacks of cash that they're earning back to like the BBC and ITV because they've fell behind the wayside on all sorts of production and quality. Well, this suggestion has been thrown out by the UK government.
Good.
Yes. Because essentially the government wants to continue with a healthy mixed film and TV ecology. Investment from video on demand services contributes to the success of our domestic sector, said the government. They cited Barbie bringing in £80 million worth of contribution to the UK economy.
Wow.
Bridgerton, £275 million contribution to the UK economy in the last 5 years. Bridgerton was particularly held up as an example where it had supported 5,000 local businesses.
5,000?
Yeah, during its production.
Blimey. Good. That's good. That's a really good thing.
Basically, they don't want to scare away these huge companies spending billions and billions of dollars and pounds in our country
by making them give money to antiquated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. A source told The Hollywood Reporter Netflix members have already paid the BBC license fee. A levy to double tax them would be unfair.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that one's gone out of the window.
Good.
Common sense prevails. News of a spin-off.
A spin-off?
Of a bottom of the stream movie that we've done in the past. Yes. I was not aware of this streaming service existing, but it apparently is the premier streaming service in Canada.
Right, okay.
A Canadian company called Crave.
Okay.
And they have commissioned...
I think I've heard of Crave.
They have commissioned a 10-episode adaptation TV show of Bon Cop, Bad Cop.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Currently in production. The obviously bilingual series featuring dialogue in both English and French will debut on Crave in 2026. One of the cops from the original movie is in the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Patrick Huard. I can't remember if he was the older
French.
one or the
younger
younger one.
Bon Cop.
But he reprises his role as David Bouchard. And also joining the cast is Sarah Jean Labrosse, who will play his daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
That's cool. I like it when our little films do well.
Yes, the synopsis reads, in Bon Cop, Bad Cop, David and Martin team up for an investigation that takes them across Canada after the band chief of an indigenous community mysteriously disappears. They are joined by a new cadre of cops who are just as unorthodox as they are, including David's daughter, who has her father's stubborn streak, Joe, an intrepid police officer, and Kim, a skeptical lieutenant.
Why are lieutenants always skeptical?
Don't know.
It's always the same, isn't it?
Maybe it's in the job description.
It must be. That's cool. I like that.
It's what a universe. That thing's got 2 movies and a TV show now. Yeah. Crazy.
We never watched the sequel, did we?
No, I've always saved it for a special occasion, and it's
never
quite come on.
We should watch it.
There's a third Lost Bullet movie.
Oh, is there really?
To arrive as well, so we'll complete the trilogy.
Wow.
So, yeah, because we never watched the sequel to that either. Talking of sequels,
okay.
Jerry Bruckheimer has been talking to Variety, and he has been talking about his work so far in developing a sequel to Crimson Tide.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. From, I don't even know what year Crimson Tide was, 1995.
Wow, long time ago.
30 years ago.
30. How was 95 30 years ago?
I know, crazy. Yeah. He said he's developing a sequel. He's been interviewing this week, saying we have a really good director and writer talking to the Navy right now about what's going on under the water. He didn't name who that director and writer would be, but did suggest that he thought if we can give him a good script, I think Denzel would return. But a source close to Denzel said any participation would be script dependent.
Yeah. And money dependent, I would imagine.
Maybe. Cool. It's quite interesting how Variety have written this article, because they say that basically if Denzel Washington comes back, he'll need a new on-screen adversary, because obviously Gene Hackman passed away.
Yeah.
This year. So Tony Scott, the original director, is also no longer with us.
Yeah.
Neither is Robert Towne, who was the writer of the original. And then you think, well, that's unfortunate. But again, it was 30 years ago.
Yeah. But does it also make you think, leave it alone? If everybody's gone?
It feels like... But I totally get that. I suppose the flip side of the coin would be, I'm not sure that sort of movie gets made if it's not a sequel, or if it's not got that sort of legacy attached to it. Because there's that sort of military, what would you call it, Crimson Tide, the sort of clear and present danger, those Jack Ryan stuff. I don't feel that's got enough behind it as a new property like that. I don't think that's got enough behind it nowadays to get off the ground as a cinematic
standalone movie. Doesn't.
But if you're saying you're doing Crimson Tide 2,
yeah,
even if that's not what it started out as,
Yeah, you've only got.
Then I think you get more legs, don't you?
Slightly hook it in and find a hook and then do it. Yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe that's a bit cynical, but that's kind of where my brain went. Quentin Tarantino contributed to the script for Crimson Tide. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Interesting.
7.4 on IMDb, Crimson Tide.
I have not. I frankly think I've probably seen it once.
I don't think I have. I might have, but
probably 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's not the sort of film I was watching in '95. It's on Disney Plus in the UK.
Oh,
if anybody's interested.
Fair play. More news on the casting of the Highlander reboot.
Okay, yeah.
Not a sequel.
Not a sequel.
A reboot. A property that's been rebooted several times over the years. But it's got quite the cast attached to it already. Well, only 3 people, but they're 3 pretty big names. It'll be directed by Chad Stahelski to start with. He's a guy who directed at least a couple of the John Wicks.
Okay.
He is behind Highlander, the reboot. And Henry Cavill, I think we already knew he was going to be in this thing.
We did.
Also joined is Russell Crowe.
Okay.
Who I presume will be playing the sort of Sean Connery elder role from the first one. And they've also been joined by Marissa Abela, who you may know as Amy Winehouse in the recent Back to Black documentary. They are the trio of leads for this thing, which will be getting a cinematic release.
It's a good cast.
It is, yeah. It did have a TV show that was on for years.
It did,
didn't it? Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it any good? I can't remember.
Don't know.
I can't remember if the movie was any good, just generally. But everything must come around again.
Of course it does. There's no original ideas.
Okay, just a couple of bits of news left. One being a sad piece of news, one being a weird piece of news. We'll go with the sad piece of news first.
Okay.
And that is the untimely and sad passing this week of Michael Madsen.
Yeah, this is really sad.
A frequent collaborator with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, the aforementioned.
Yes. Probably most known for Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I would think so.
Chopped that dude's ear off, didn't he?
Yep.
I mean, we would, again, a lot of talk in the Discord about this week. I always liked when Michael Madsen turned up because there was an air of unpredictability.
Yeah, anything could happen.
And I'll say this now, and I said it last night in the Discord, I mean this sincerely as a compliment.
Yeah.
His charisma and presence overshadowed his actual acting ability.
Definitely.
But that's not a bad thing.
I think that's absolutely fair, and I think that's fine to say.
He was always watchable and unpredictable, and there's not
many people around.
Yeah. He's perfect in like those Kill. I know he's probably most famous for the Reservoir Dogs stuff. He's perfect in those Kill Bill movies.
Yeah. I love those movies. Yeah, he is perfect. 328 acting credits on IMDb.
Incredible.
I don't think I've ever seen that many.
Yeah.
For anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of terrible movies, I'm sure. It's quite wild that he's never appeared on our show. Because there's a lot.
I think if we'd have been doing Amazon Prime a bit earlier,
been in the Hall of Fame.
We'd probably have
been in the Captain's Gallery by now, I'm sure.
Yeah, we probably have seen him a bit more.
Yeah. Never owned a mobile phone.
Really?
Apparently so. I was reading yesterday.
Oh, fair play.
He never owned a mobile phone, claimed to have never sent an email or accessed the internet.
Nice.
So he used to write to people in handwritten letters rather than sending emails. Yeah, strange man.
Love it.
It's pretty impressive these days.
Definitely.
Just to not own a phone, but let alone to not go on the internet.
Yeah. That's that's really impressive.
It really is.
Especially in the last 20 years. Where
you must be making a concerted effort to do it.
Ubiquitous. Yeah. I think his agent was like, "Oh God, get the quill out! I've got to write to Madsen."
Yeah. How did he get so much work? He must have lived next door to the agency offices or something.
Maybe. Who knows? And then the final and oddest story of the week, I think, is that news that a part owner of the town of Wrexham, Rob McElhenney, is applying by deed poll to change his name.
Really?
Yes, last week.
Please tell me he's going to be called Robbie Wrexham.
Changing his surname to Reynolds.
Robbie Reynolds. Robbie Wrexham's a great name. Let's go with that.
He's filed to legally change his name.
Okay.
To Rob Mack.
Rob Mack?
Yeah, MAC.
Is this guy okay? Why?
And this week he's taken to social media, in his words, to dedicate exactly 1 minute to why he's doing it.
Right.
Would you like me to read it out?
Yes, please.
So he shared a video on X on X, formerly Twitter, and said, "Yes, I'm shortening my name to Rob Mack, mostly a stage name, but I digress. Is it kind of douchey? Yes. But the amount of time that I've wasted trying to get people to either say or spell my name correctly is literally days of my life. I've added it up."
Oh, wow. Okay. I think that's fair, but...
I don't think McElhenney is that difficult to say.
I don't either.
I mean, it might be more difficult to spell just for the number of L's and N's.
Yeah, I don't know if I could spell it now without looking at it. I don't think I could spell it, but... Rob Mack.
It feels a bit nice. It's related to Alex.
Yeah. I haven't thought about Alex Mack in a long time. Who's Rodney Mack? Was he a wrestler?
I think
that
so.
Name's familiar.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was.
Well, he's not even adding the K. It's just MAC.
MAC.
Yeah, like, that's Big Mac. I don't know.
Should have gone for Robbie Wrexham.
Like you said, he continued.
That's a weird story.
A lot of people call me Rob Mack anyway. My family knows me and loves me regardless of how many syllables I have, and that's the only thing that I really care about.
Okay.
So will all these kids still be McElhenney? Or will they be like Little Mac?
Little Mac. Big Mac.
Mac Jr.? I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay,
weird.
Fine. I'm sure he will get absolutely no stick for that whatsoever over the coming weeks, months and years.
What a bizarre decision.
That's all the news.
Cool, thank you. Good news. Have you watched anything good at the top of this?
I've watched a few things.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. I've watched 2 things.
Okay. That's a few.
I guess so.
That's a couple.
It's multiple episodes of 2 things.
Okay.
So what should I start with? I'll start with Squid Game.
Okay.
Because I'll do a brief bit. Because if you've then watched them over the next week or so, maybe we go back to it.
That's next on my list now, so I will start it.
So I've only got 1 episode left.
Right, okay.
And there's only 6 episodes.
Okay.
So I think
by next week
I think that's the shortest of the 3 batches.
Yeah, you might be right.
And I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm really keen. I've only got 1 left, and there's still several things to be answered, and I want to see how it plays out. I'm quite invested in the characters. It is a very different show to season 1.
Yeah.
It is a continuation of season 2. So a lot of things we said then applies.
Yeah.
You will have, and I've seen it again this week in some reviews saying, "Oh, this thing's a bit boring. It's not as full of the gore and that stuff's all still there."
Yeah.
But it's not there every episode. But that's not what season 2 was.
No.
It was introducing these
New
various storylines. You know, we're following some guards, you know, what they're getting up to as well. And for me, the question isn't more, I was thinking about this afternoon, is Squid Game 2 and 3 good or not? They are good. They are different to Squid Game season 1. The question for me is, did we need Squid Game season 2 and season 3?
I think that's the question we've asked ever since Squid Game 2 was announced.
Yeah. I think the creator's done a very good job, almost not retconning, but coming up with something that makes sense and hooks you in, following what I think is a perfectly
fully rounded
one and
story.
done season.
I'd agree with that.
I think when that tacked on last shot that we know Netflix said, put that guy walking back onto that plane.
Yeah, 100%. I think when we've both finished Squid Game, we maybe should do like a deep dive into it.
Yeah.
Maybe let's do an episode on it.
That'd
like
be
a
good.
whole, because it's a cultural phenomenon. It's what this generation's going to be remembered of TV wise. So it'd be really interesting to like deep dive into it and see what we both really think of it, and if it really did need to happen, or if it was worth it.
Yeah.
So let's do that when we've both watched all of it.
What I will say is I don't think it had the emotional heft. I don't know if it's because I wasn't quite as in with some of the. I felt like some of the characters who are very much in the background, it suddenly expects me to really care about.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I've got an episode left to watch, but I didn't quite feel that connection.
Okay.
Which again is maybe that's a bit of the fact that it's been 4 months since I've seen season 2.
Yeah.
And I've not gone back and rewatched it. So maybe it's a bit like your removal vans.
Yeah.
If I went back and watched season 2, I'd spot them more.
Yeah, maybe.
But that would be my nitpick.
Okay.
But I'm really keen to see.
So you've got one left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it ends up. I hear there's a starry cameo in the last episode.
Oh, really?
So I'm interested to find out who, what, and why, and where that is. So
Rod Mack turns up.
Yeah, Rob Mack.
Nice.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, when we've both, I'll try and get it done as much as I can of it this week before next week, and we'll see if we can do some sort of bonus on it.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
And the other thing I watched, which I didn't expect to watch so much of.
Okay.
Not saying that you put me off, because you didn't, because I saw the trailer and really wanted to watch it. But I know you slowed down on it. It was Department Q.
I actually finished it last night.
I've got one left.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's been awesome.
Okay, that's really interesting because everybody's saying the same thing. I
totally invested in this thing.
I'm not saying it's not a really good show.
No.
I never said that. I haven't. And
no, you didn't. You said it was slow. A bit slow.
I think it is a bit slow. In the middle, I think it is a bit slow. And it did lose me a little bit in the middle. I'm not going to lie. And I felt like when I've got 3 left, I felt like I just need to get through this. It's a chore. But the last 3 episodes, I thought were great.
Yeah.
And especially the last one is this is awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think it does have a bit of sag in the middle.
There's a sag in the middle. It lost me, and then it really struggled to get me back.
Yeah.
But then by the time I'd got to the last 2 or 3 episodes, I was fully.
Do you think that's a bit of a... I mean, it's to say, we say this with a lot of Netflix shows. It's 9-hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
You know, they can be 45 minutes, and it would be fine.
I think maybe you could have cut one whole episode.
Cut an episode off. It's Matthew Good's great at it, though, and his supporting cast, as in his team in the program,
I thought the
great
cast, characters. I can't fault anybody in the cast. I thought the cast
first episode. I remember talking to you about Black Doves, which is much more actiony than this is, but it is a policey type show. That was I think 2.5 episodes in before it hooked. Yeah, I'm in for this. I'm gonna watch it. This was first episode.
Okay.
The twist in the first episode, I just saw it coming. Because I was watching my wife, and she was like, "Oh, which? I wonder which case they'll choose." And I was like, "I've already seen it." And I quite what the twist was, and I was like, "Yeah, brilliant! I really like the way they've done that."
Yeah.
And
but then they never went for any sort of gimmick like that again. I guess.
No, they didn't, which was
strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not. At no point did I ever think it was a bad show. I knew if I thought it was a bad show, I'd have given up on it.
Yeah, sure.
There's many shows I've given up on, but it got to a point in the middle where I was like, I just need to get through this. So I was really intrigued to see how it was going to end, and I really did want to know what they were going to do with this case. But
Netflix SAG is a real thing. It is a real phenomenon.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
we've just coined that, but I like it. Netflix SAG.
Yeah.
But no, overall, I thought it was a great show. I did enjoy it. So I think the finale's the last 2 episodes are really good.
So I've come here telling you I've watched, 13 episodes of these 2 things.
Yeah.
And I've got one left for both. Maybe I should have focused my efforts more on one than the other and actually finished one.
Not finished either of them. You've got one of each. You've got nothing to watch for the rest of the week. You can do today. You'll do those 2 episodes, and then you've got nothing left to watch.
Okay.
How
about you?
Inspired by you, last week I started Somebody Feed Phil.
Oh yeah.
This season I've done 4 of them, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I thought they were. I think it's great. I don't know where the Phil hate's coming from. I think it's as good a show as it's always been. It makes
it's
me
not changed. I said that last week.
It's not. I don't think it has. I think the Amsterdam episode was really good. I've never been to Amsterdam. It made me really want to go there.
Yeah.
I was a little bit disappointed by the Las Vegas one, but I think that's because he took it off strip and it didn't feel like he was anywhere.
You wanted to see Phil go to the Heart Attack Grill,
yeah,
and get his ass slapped at that one there.
But
because that's more a comment on the place than the program, because they tried to do because they did an Orlando episode, didn't they? And I get it. They're trying to say there's more to Orlando than Disney World. There's more to Las Vegas than all this stuff. And then every shot in Las Vegas was on the strip, apart from when he went into these restaurants that were just.
When he was like.
I want to see Phil go to an all-you-can-eat buffet for $5.
There may be more to Vegas than Vegas, but nobody's going to Vegas for that. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm going to Vegas, I'm going to go for the Vegas experience. I'm not going to go 2 miles out of town to a local backstreet diner.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that when there's so much food on I think when he sat, I don't know which episode it was in. It might have been the Vegas one when he sat in that supermarket in that little noodle place he found in the back somewhere. I'm like, nobody's doing this. It's like it feels like you're just being quirky for quirky's sake, but it's still a really good show.
Yeah,
and I really like the cameo from all the old like 90s TV characters and writers, and it really made me laugh when it was Mel Brooks he'd got on.
Yes,
and then when he closed the call, he was like, well, "We're never beating that."
Yeah,
we've like that's like completed. And I thought that was quite good. But I think it's great. It's a good show.
Mel Brooks, like we said the other week, about to go back to work on
Spaceballs 2. And he's 100 years old. Literally. I'm not even like joking.
Yeah, he's 100 this year, I think.
Yeah. So I've been watching that. I've done 4. I don't know how many there is. So maybe I've got a few left. I think Manila's the next one I've got to watch.
I can't remember.
It made me did make me want to go to Amsterdam though.
Yeah.
So I might
the one where he goes up to that little guy's loft and he cooks him pancakes.
Pancakes, yeah.
That guy was a riot.
He was a character.
Yeah. And he was like, "Do you know the joke? I don't even like pancakes. I've been cooking them for 40 years."
And it made me like, how are people finding these little backstreet...
Good researchers.
Yeah, but how are normal people finding them? How has this guy got any customers? There was a flight of stairs.
He had like 3 tables,
get up. It was so steep.
And a bar that fit 2 people.
It was a room the size of this, probably, if not smaller. And it just made me think, how are people finding these things? I also watched, changing the subject completely, the Trainwreck Poop Cruise documentary.
Oh yes, it's on my list. I've not watched it yet. Is it worth my time?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very American. I feel like, and that is not an insult to anybody other than the people in the documentary.
Okay, fine.
Because they're the most horrible bunch of people.
Just people are going cruises.
By the end of it, I was like, I'm quite glad this happened to you people. You're awful people.
People who just expect to be waited on hand and foot.
If this had happened to an English cruise liner full of English people, probably wouldn't have even hit the news.
Yeah.
It's just like, they just made such a...
We would sit in our shit.
There's such a big deal out of it. It's like... These poor cruise staff, they hadn't got a clue what to do.
Yeah.
So they came up with this solution, which was basically piss in the shower trays, poo in a bag.
Yeah.
There's your options for a few days. 4 days, I think it was in total. And they were like, we're not pooing in a bag. We're not. So they just kept using the toilets. And it's like, obviously shit's going to go wrong, literally. I think the worst thing about it was that obviously the aircon wasn't working. And the cruise ship bedrooms are enclosed. Some of them are not got windows. So they couldn't go in the bedroom. So they were having to sleep out. And that'd be worse for me.
Yeah.
I'd poo in a bag. I'd chuck it in a bin. I've got no issue with that.
Just clip that out. Just clip that out of context.
Certainly wouldn't go into a toilet that was already overflowing with shit and shit on it.
No.
That's not what I'm going to do. But I don't want to be insulting to any Americans other than the people that it fight. And they're all not good, not nice people. Let's put it that way. And if I was going to, I'm going to criticize the documentary as well because it focuses on these 4 or 5 people who are on this cruise ship.
Sure.
But it doesn't tell you what happened, why it happened, what they did to solve it.
Oh, right.
It's literally these guys' experience.
Oh, okay.
And there's no...
It's very...
Yes, the ship...
There
was a ship that was on fire. The electrics went off. They were going to get towed to America, to Mexico, but they drifted too far. So they had to be towed to America, which was going to take a bit longer. And that's literally the detail they give you. And then you get these 4 or 5 moaning. There's 3 women on it who are on a hen do. Oh my God, they're like, get them off my TV. It was that bad. It was only 50 minutes. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
But don't go in expecting it to be like a deep dive into what happened. There is another train wreck documentary on there called Mayor of Mayhem, I think.
Right.
And I'm going to definitely watch that one. I think that one looks quite good. It's about this guy who was elected mayor, but he was a psycho. So I think that was that.
Oh, is it the guy, Toronto mayor from about 10 years ago?
I think so.
He's like smoke crack and everything. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to watch that one at some point. And then I also made a triumphant return to the cinema this week. It's the first time I've been for, I think, March, maybe.
Did they put a guard of honour out?
They did, yeah. There was a guard of honour. I got free popcorn and everything.
Nice.
Welcome back. Thank you for coming. I went to watch 28 Years Later.
You went in the end?
I did go to watch it because I just wanted to see it.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like. And to say I left the cinema confused would be an understatement.
Okay, fine. It's the first part of a trilogy.
That's not the issue I've got.
Fine.
And I can't explain it to anybody until they've seen it.
Okay.
Because it's a twist that you cannot spoil for anybody. Nobody's talking about it.
Right.
But in a few years' time, people will study the end of this movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's pure.
You sure it's not just setting up for the next
pure,
one?
No.
Okay, fine.
It's pure batshit. And I think it's offensive, maybe. I was slightly offended by the ending of this movie.
Okay, interesting.
And I was saying at work, I need to speak to somebody who's around my age about it as well, because it's offensive to people around my age.
Okay.
But younger people might not even understand what's happening. And it's really baffling. And I can't talk about it until people have seen it a bit more. Until you get to the ending, the film's not very good.
Right.
Let's put it that way. It's one boy's story of his mother's not very well and he needs to get her to a doctor, and he finds out there's a doctor. They all live on this island.
Yeah.
And he needs to get her to the mainland.
Okay.
And it's that story. And
right.
There's a few zombies in it. There's one that's got a massive dick for no reason whatsoever. And
it kind of was
for some reason, within the 28 years that they've been zombies, they've all got naked.
Okay.
But Danny Boyle just loves putting big dicks on screens. He's always done it, hasn't he? So, yeah, it's weird.
Okay.
It's a weird film, and the ending. I sat in the. I actually looked around to see if everybody else was feeling the same as I was feeling, because the ending is weird, man. So full on.
Was it busy?
Full on.
Many people there?
There was a few.
Okay.
It was the smallest screen in the local cinema, but there was 20 people in there maybe. So yeah, I went to watch that. I don't think it's the sort of film I'll go and see again. I'll go and see the sequel just because I want to know how they're going to explain what they've done at the end of this movie. But we'll see. I need people to see it I need English people my age to see this movie.
Okay, fine.
Let's put it that way.
What a tease.
Yeah. So I think that's it, though. I think that's all I've been watching. New Game Changer was really good. I watched that last night.
It was great.
This week's Game Changer.
Yeah,
excellent.
really good.
This season's been like a quality
hit
above
after hit.
A quality above everything else they've ever done, I think. This is going to be
There's
the best
more
season of
money.
Game Changer.
It's got a bigger reputation.
It feels like there's new writers on it or something, because they're all new cast members as well, pretty much. There's not many like old school people coming back.
The OGs.
The OGs. And the games are so imaginative. Like that's the one this week's it's such a clever idea.
Yeah. And
it works so well. Yeah, it's great. Get Dropout. That's my weekly PSA. Get Dropout. But I think that's it. I think that's all I've been watching.
Okay.
I think we're done. Are we done?
I think so.
I don't think we need. I was going to go through the top 10s, but we've already gone
nearly an hour.
We'll save it for next time. I don't think there's anything in there that's Squid Game's number one.
Well
obviously.
Done. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're done. We should probably talk about what we're watching on Thursday.
Come back to find out our podcast on Thursday, because we will be talking about Corner Office.
We will indeed. John Hamm is in this movie.
Yes, he is. And it is available, at least in the UK, which means it should be pretty much everywhere, on Amazon Prime. It is a wild card choice played by one of our Patreons.
It is indeed. Jordan Shenton chose this
himself.
Chose this movie.
So yeah. We'll see. Well, a couple of things. We'll watch it, talk about it, see where it lands compared to the other wild cards this season.
And the rest of the films in this
and the rest of the table.
We're rapidly coming towards the end of season 12.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about that, I suppose, on Thursday. So come back here, do all the things like subscribe, tell your nan, ding the bell, do all them sort of things. Go out and watch Corner Office.
Yes.
We'll be here every Monday for this show, Bottom of the Stream with Adam and Nick. And then every Thursday, our podcast comes out, which is the Bottom of the Stream movie show, where we talk about little hidden gem movies that nobody else is watching. So that's what we do every week. Come back next Monday for this and next Thursday for that.
Cheers.
Bye.